The Washington Capitals are in town. Can the Blue Jackets make it 3 wins in a row? Plus, what does Jake Christiansen have to do to stay in this lineup? We discuss on today's Locked On Blue Jackets.
You're Locked On Blue Jackets, your daily podcast on the Columbus Blue Jackets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Blue Jackets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am, as always, your host, Jay Foster, here to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly about your favorite team and mine, the Columbus Blue Jackets. Before we get things started, I want to thank everyone for making this your first listen of the day every single day. Locked On Blue Jackets is free and available on all podcast platforms and over on YouTube. I also have to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. The Washington Capitals are in town for the first time this season, and they are doing pretty good so far, as frustrating as that is. So I figure we'll talk a little bit about how they're doing this season. We'll talk about the Blue Jackets lineup changes, or the one specific lineup change that I want to talk about, and we'll make some predictions. So let's get into it with the Capitals. Now, I thought that the Capitals might take a bit of a step back this year, right? They lost a lot of their depth and didn't really seem to replace them with anyone. But again, with the caveat that it's still early, they seem to be doing just fine. They're 5-2 so far on the season. They are coming off of a win against Seattle, a pretty convincing win, if I remember rightly, and all of the guys that should be scoring for the most part are scoring, right? Like Alex Ovechkin only has 1 goal in his last 7 games. We'll talk about Ovechkin in a second here, but like Tom Wilson, 10 points in 7, Dylan Strome, 9 points in 7, Alexi Protas, 8 points in 7, right? Like on the defensive side of things, Jacob Chychrun's got 6 points in 7 games, and John Carlson's got 5 points in 7 games. Like everyone who is supposed to be performing is performing, right? They've also got one of the only goaltending tandems in the league better than the Blue Jackets right now. Only just. But Logan Thompson has a .927 save percentage and is 4-1. Charlie Lindgren is 1-1 and has a .932 save percentage. On the Blue Jackets side, Elvis Merzlikins with a .927 and Jet Greaves with a .928. So it's pretty close, right? Like, and again, at this point in the season, like the difference between a .932 and a .928 is kind of negligible. But they are, like I said, they are one of the only teams in the league with a better goaltending duo than the Blue Jackets, which is kind of crazy, honestly. I don't know if the Blue Jackets have been moved up in that estimation since Elvis's 957. Or whatever it was the other night. Let me just check real quick. The Blue Jackets are currently sitting at... Why can't I find it? It's fine. The point I'm making here is that the Capitals are a good team. They are scoring when they're supposed to. They are not allowing goals when they're supposed to. They're actually the team leading the league in goals against per game right now. They're allowing, on average, under 2 goals a game, which is kind of insane. And again, it's early. It's a small sample size, and I'm going to continue to bang that drum probably until we get to about 10 to 15 games. I don't know if I've talked about this yet, but for me, like, 10 games is really the lower end of what you can start to consider a decent sample size, right? Like 10 games is still a pretty small sample size. There was a lot of conversation about Jet Greaves at the end of last season. He finished like 2nd in the entire league in goals saved above expected. And he did that on an 11 game sample, right? So like, again, it's not the biggest sample in the world, but I refuse to consider it a sample size at all until we hit 10 games. But it looks like things are going pretty well for the Capitals, right? Blue Jackets have had some success against the Capitals and some not so success against the Capitals. I believe they tied the season series last year. I believe the Capitals won 2 and the Blue Jackets won 2. I know the Blue Jackets definitely won 2 because they had that home and home late in the season against the Capitals that Jet Greaves played both games of. got a shutout in one game, and I think allowed one goal in the second game to Alex Ovechkin, obviously. But one goal over 2 games for Jet against the Capitals. Now, it was the end of the season. They were resting some guys. I don't know if they were necessarily trying as hard as they needed to, but I'm also not going to be like, well, they threw the game, because I don't think that's hockey players aren't wired like that, right? So, yes, it was not the optimal lineup for the Capitals, I'm sure, but that doesn't discredit how well the Blue Jackets or Jet Greaves played in those 2 games. So if they can keep playing like that, and it sounds like Jet Greaves is going to be the guy. It sounds like they're going to keep the rotation going, which means we get Jet tonight, and I believe Elvis tomorrow night against the Penguins, I want to say. So, like, again, I'm more than okay with that. If as long as the tandem's working, keep it going. And if one guy starts to struggle, throw the other guy up there, right? I do know that Elvis left practice yesterday after taking a puck up high, which I assume means like somewhere in the collarbone neck area. Having taken those, they sting. Providing that nothing's broken or anything like that, like he'll have a heck of a bruise, but he'll be fine. Having taken a lot of pucks to the collarbone in my 10 years of playing hockey, but the Blue Jackets are going to go with Jet either way. If it turns out that Elvis can't go, then I don't think they'll play Jet in back-to-back games so early in the season. They might. Who knows? He's playing well enough for it, but Ivan Fedotov is right there. So who knows what'll happen? But my guess is that it'll be Jet tonight, Elvis tomorrow against the Penguins. I'm going to try and do an episode tomorrow where we'll talk about the Penguins. We'll talk about this Penguins, and we'll talk about this game. But right now we're gonna focus on the Capitals. Like I said, everything seems to be clicking for them, right? Like Dylan Strome's got 9 points in his last 5 games. They had a 4-game win streak broken, and then now they're on I don't know that one game is considered a win streak, but they're coming off a win, right? They are outperforming the Blue Jackets in goals against per game. But interestingly, the Blue Jackets have a better power play and, well, I was going to say a better penalty kill. That's simply not true. But their penalty kill is only 25th in the league. So again, kind of similar to the Blue Jackets. They're getting things done at 5-on-5. So I'll be interested to see what happens if the mediocre power play meets the mediocre penalty kill, and vice versa. Obviously, the Blue Jackets seem to have had kind of a breakthrough in terms of special teams in the game against Dallas. But whatever the Capitals are doing, they're getting it done at 5-on-5, right? They're scoring about 3 goals a game. Blue Jackets are scoring 3.17. So again, kind of negligible. Blue Jackets have them beat in face-offs, but the Capitals have them beat in goals against per game. So in theory, this game should finish 3-2 one way based on averages, right? Like I don't know which way that'll finish. But the Blue Jackets are allowing about 2.5 goals a game. The Caps are allowing about 2 goals a game. Blue Jackets scoring about 3 goals a game. Caps are scoring about 3 goals a game. Like, it's a really even matching. The Capitals have better underlyings, I think. I don't have that stat open in front of me, but my guess is that the Blue Jackets underlyings, especially offensively, haven't like wowed me yet. But again, it's still early, and they have started to like move back towards the mean instead of being just completely miserable offensively. So we'll see. It should be a good game. I don't necessarily think I'm going to label this like a must-win game for the Blue Jackets because it's game 7 of the season. But it really would be nice to win this one. Again, like I talked about this in Wednesday's episode, I think, of or maybe Tuesday's episode of you need to win your home games and you need to win your games against Metro divisions. Blue Jackets are 0-1 against Metro teams so far this season, I think. They've only played the Devils and they lost narrowly. If you want to get into the playoffs this season, you're going to have to beat the Metro teams more than you did last season. So I believe 2 of the Blue Jackets' 3 wins are against teams in the East, in the West right now. Got to start beating the East. You just have to, right? So we'll take a quick break, and then there's one specific lineup change that I want to talk about for the Blue Jackets because nothing else appears to be changing except this. And while I understand it, I also don't understand it, So we're going to talk about the Gudbranson Christiansen swap in just a second here on Locked On Blue Jackets. First, I'm going to tell you about Rougier, because let's be real, making excuses doesn't solve anything. We've heard them all before. It's stress, I'm tired, it happens to everyone sometimes. But when it comes to performance, sometimes your body just needs a little extra support, and that's where Rougier comes in. They offer fast-acting, doctor-prescribed treatments for ED designed to help you stop making excuses and start making moves. Makes it easy to get started. You just connect with a board-certified doctor completely online. There's no awkward waiting rooms. There's no in-person appointments. And if it's prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly to your door. It's fast, simple, private, and it's all handled by real doctors. It's about confidence, connection, and getting back to the moments that matter. Visit rugiet.com/lockedonnhl to get 15% off your first order. That's rugiet.com/lockedonnhl. Don't forget to use our code LOCKEDONNHL so they know we sent you. Rougier, stop making excuses and start making moves. I've also got to tell you about FanDuel. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get 300 of them in bonus bets if you win. That's right, pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you're going to get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Gives you a billion different ways to play, does FanDuel. You can build parlays. I saw somebody online had a same-game parlay for a Dmitry Voronkov goal and a Denton Matejko goal, and they won like $800. Like, that's awesome. So you can do that. You can do player props. You can bet like anytime goal scorer. You can bet the over-under. You can bet like just straight up who wins, who loses, right? You can even follow along live during games. If you think there's a comeback brewing, maybe put a little bit of money on it, and it makes it even more exciting, in my opinion. Whether you're a casual fan or you love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the app today and get started. Welcome back to Locked On Blue Jackets. I'm not going to get too into the Blue Jackets side of things, because here's the thing. They just have to play like they did against the Stars and against the Lightning, right? Those are two really good games. The Capitals, I would put kind of on a par with both of those games, even though they are ahead of them in the standings, right? I think based on just pure skill and scoring ability and whatnot, if the Blue Jackets play like they did against Dallas and Tampa, they're going to be just fine against the Capitals, providing they remember how to score. They're bringing basically the exact same lineup into this game. There's going to be a goalie swap. We know this. It's going to be Jet. I'm not worried about that. But it looks like Erik Gudbranson has recovered from his upper body injury, which of course means that he slides right back into the lineup at the expense of Jake Christiansen, who I did kind of go off on this on Twitter yesterday, where I basically, here's the thing. I like Erik Gudbranson. I think he is an important player for a team to have, right? Especially a young team. Sometimes you need an adult. It sounds like he's really good for, the vibes in the room. By all accounts, is a great guy. I have nothing against Erik Gudbranson at all. I simply don't think that he is a player that you need to play every single game. And I understand that he's just missed, 4 games due to injury. So this is not a case of, missing 4 games. He's missed 1 game and is immediately back in. He's missed a real amount of time. That being said, I don't know what Jake Christiansen has to do to stay in the lineup, because here's the thing. He was the best defenseman in the preseason. I know the preseason doesn't mean a lot to a lot of people, but he has done basically everything they've asked for him. He's done it without complaining. He is playing fewer than 10 minutes a night, and he is consistently winning those minutes. I don't have the tweet that I made pulled up because I'm a fool, but Erik Gudbranson consistently loses his minutes. Jake Christiansen wins more than he loses. So when Jake Christiansen is on the ice, the shot attempt share for the Blue Jackets is 57%. When Erik Gudbranson is on the ice, the shot attempt share is 38%, which means that the shot attempt share is 62% in favor of the other team. That means that the other team is getting more shots and allowing fewer when Erik Gudbranson is on the ice than when Jake Christiansen is. Expected goal percentage, 62% for Jake Christiansen, 30% for Erik Gudbranson. If we want to talk physicality, they have the same number of hits. They have roughly the same number of giveaways relative to amount of time played. The off-ice shooting percentage is higher when Gudbranson is on the ice, but I don't know that that's just kind of what's happening, right? I don't think he's involved in that. The on-ice save percentage is basically the same. So he's getting better shooting percentage when he's on the ice, which I think is making his minutes look better, but he is consistently being out attempted when he's on the ice. And he's doing it again. Like Gudbranson he's playing about 14 minutes a game this season, and he's getting penalty kill time. Jake Christiansen is getting under 10 minutes on average, doesn't get special teams time, gets very little 5-on-5 time, if I'm being brutally honest, right? And I don't understand what this kid has to do to stay in the lineup consistently, because for me, he's passing the eye test, he's passing the analytics test. It's not like he's even being less physical than Gudbranson, or playing less good defense, because that's the line that they reel off about Gudbranson, right? Is that he's steady, he's a stay-at-home defenseman, he's solid back there, he blocks shots, he does his job, etc., etc., etc. But Jake Christiansen's kind of just doing all of the things that Gudbranson does, but he's not as big, which I think is probably one way that the eye test fails him, because Gudbranson is big, and the big counts for a lot in this league. Even now in the year 2024, the fact that Gudbranson is 6'4" is gonna serve him well, right? Beyond that, everything that Gudbranson does, Jake Christiansen is doing and better, right? Again, it's really, really frustrating. And I know that Christiansen will get his time, and I know that he's going to be the first man back in the lineup, but I don't know what he would have had to do in those minutes to get Everson to play him over Gudbranson. Gudbranson's going to be in the lineup. If Gudbranson's healthy, he's going to be in the lineup, and that feels not insane to me, but it's very it's really frustrating, right? I don't know what the blocked shot numbers are, because I can't find them right now. But basically everything else that Jake Christiansen is doing, Erik Gudbranson has triple the amount of giveaways per game, despite playing two games fewer, which is just real frustrating. Beyond that, I don't know what Jake Christiansen has to do. And I understand that, again, I think I talked about this a couple episodes ago, that if the worst thing that we can figure out, if the worst problem that we have right now is figuring out the fourth line and the third defense pairing, it's fine. But I do feel like the defense is going to take a hit with Gudbranson on the ice. I think the penalty kill is going to take a hit with Gudbranson on the ice, because I don't think he's very good on the penalty kill, but he gets to play that. He's the second most used defenseman on the penalty kill when he's on the roster, which again makes me feel a little bit insane. But I don't know what someone like Jake Christiansen has to do, right? In a similar way that I don't know what someone like Igor Chidakov has to do, because he had a really great game against Dallas, and maybe I'll be wrong here. Maybe he'll get a little bit more freedom, a little bit more ice time as a result of that. But I suspect what's going to happen is, in this game against the Capitals, is he's going to go right back down to playing, 6.5, 7 minutes a game. And that's not how you utilize a guy like Chidakov. And again, Christiansen, you're not utilizing him in the press box. He should be playing. Straight up, he's one of the 6 best defensemen on this team. He might be one of the top 4 defensemen on this team. Maybe that's too far. Maybe that's too hard to take. I don't know. But I like Jake Christiansen a lot. He has consistently shown that he is a good enough defenseman to be on this team. And it must be so frustrating for him to, again, do everything that's asked of him and then immediately get sat because the veteran is back and they have to play the veteran for mysterious reasons that I can't figure out. Let's do a little quick break, and then let's talk predictions, because a lot of us got points in the last game. A lot of us guessed the right goal scorer, or goal scorers. Good for us. So let's do predictions in just a second here on Locked On Blue Jackets. First, I've got to tell you about Game Time. Hockey season's officially here. Nothing beats being in the arena for those opening games, but let's get real. Getting tickets can be a total headache. Between waiting in queue, surprise fees, prices that jump right before checkout, it's easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is cheer on your team. That's where Game Time comes in, the app that gives fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NHL tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. I recently used Game Time to grab some Leafs tickets while I was in Toronto, actually, and it couldn't have been simpler. Super easy, great seats, less than $100 per person, which for Leafs tickets is kind of insane. And what you see is what you pay. I got the panoramic view of my seat. There was no hidden fees, and just all around a great experience buying on Game Time, as it always is. So do what I did, take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's code LOCKEDON NHL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Welcome back to Locked On Blue Jackets. Let's finish off with some predictions. So if you're new here, if you're not an everydayer, welcome on in. I decided to gamify the predictions to make it a little bit more fun for you guys and a little bit more fun for me. So what we're doing is for the last couple of seasons, what I have liked to do is predict the final score and predict who's going to score a goal, an anytime goal scorer, if you will. And I'm asking you guys to do the same. So you can either at me on Twitter. By the time this episode is live, there should be a tweet up asking for your predictions, or you can comment on the YouTube video, either or. But tell me what you think the final score is going to be. Tell me who you think is going to score a goal. And if you get both of those right, you get 3 points. You get a bonus point for getting both of them correct. And if you correctly predict an overtime or a shootout win or loss, you get a bonus point as well. Whoever wins the quote unquote league is going to get a prize. I think it's going to be a gift card of some sort. And everyone who beats me is going to also get a prize, something a little bit smaller. I am having a lot of fun designing some stickers at the minute, so you might get a little Locked On Blue Jacket sticker pack. I'm really enjoying my Please Stop Doing Crime sticker that I'm currently working on. So if you want to be in with a chance of winning a gift card or winning some stickers, get your predictions in. We're having a lot of fun with it. I am doing very poorly. I think I have 2 points out of a possible 24 available, but I haven't counted up all of the points from last game yet necessarily. But this game, again, I'm gonna bet on the Blue Jackets because it's a Blue Jackets podcast, and it feels bad to not bet on the Blue Jackets. So that's what I'm gonna do, and I'm going to say a 4-2 Blue Jackets win. No, I'm going to say a 3-1 Blue Jackets win. I think the goaltending is going to be better than 4-2. I'm going to say a 3-1 Blue Jackets win. And I am going to say, I'm going to guess, let's see, who is in need of a goal? Let's say Sean Monahan. Let's go with a Sean Monahan goal. I don't think I've guessed him yet. And I realized that I guessed Fantilli 3 times in a row by accident. And I would love to guess Fantilli again because it seems like he's, again, putting him back with Kent Johnson was super effective. Who could have possibly predicted this? I'm taking credit for manifesting that, and I think if I complain enough about Jake Christiansen being a healthy scratch, I might be able to manifest that as well. Dean Emerson, I don't know if you're listening, but please put Jake Christiansen back in the lineup. We love him here on Locked On Blue Jackets. But that's my prediction. I think it's 3-1 Blue Jackets win and a Sean Monahan goal. That's my prediction. Drop your predictions either in the comments below on YouTube, at me on Twitter about them. I'll add them to my getting very extensive spreadsheet, and when we hit game 10, we'll do another little leaderboard update. We did a little leaderboard update after game 5, so we'll do another one after game 10, and I think that's how we will do it. That's all I've got for today. I'm going to try to get an episode up tomorrow to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly from this game, and also take a quick look at the Penguins. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for listening to this episode, for making it your first listen of the day every single day. Locked On Blue Jackets is free and available on all podcast platforms. We're over on YouTube, and you can find us on Twitter at LO_Blue Jackets if you haven't already. I'm on Twitter over at JAKOB. I'm on Blue Sky at JAKOBFORSTER. And you can email me if you have comments, questions, criticisms, lockedonbluejackets@gmail.com. Thank you once again for listening, and until tomorrow, make sure you stay locked on.